escape. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, you're ready to begin, and just levitate. No control over where we go, but we don't care to know. Ignorance is bliss. Your tears are gone, and they drifted back from where they came, and they will not be missed. Look up and feel the shifting winds tossing us around again. Hold tight, you're ready to begin, and just levitate.
Welcome to the Rainbow Concrete Farm. There's like a million things I can talk about in this episode, so I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. Right now, I am at the second end portal. To farm all the colors of concrete, you need an end portal and a special machine. There's a lot of information here, but it's pretty simple. Most of the signs are just reminders, and all you have to really focus on are these two levers. This lever is a chunk loader. This lever activates the special machine next to the end portal. I always leave the chunk loader on. There is no reason to turn it off really. If I activated the special machine and then jumped into the end portal without turning on the chunk loader, this machine would not work. This clock, which sends a boat into the nether, on the other side there is soul sand with fire, and whenever the boat comes through, it gets broken instantly, goes back through the portal, gets picked up by a hopper minecart, and starts the cycle over again. When the chunk loader is active, if I activated the special machine and then jumped into the end portal, this area would still be loaded and the machine would still work. I'm going to turn on the special machine now and go into the end. So, as you can see, the chunk loader is keeping the machine going. If the chunk loader wasn't there, these blocks would not be shooting in all four directions. In all four directions, there is a lot of redstone, water, and blocks to direct the incoming blocks to where I want them to go. In every direction, there is the same machine, so this machine is the same as that one, and as that one. This is side 1. It has ladders to take you up to the levers to control the redstone of this machine. This is side 2, and it says solid concrete, glass, sand, and red sand. So I was just over there, I'm now over here. Those signs indicated that this is where the solid concrete is. This is one side of the collection system, and just like the sign said, there is solid red, orange, yellow, and all the colors of concrete here. There is also red sand, sand, and glass storage. This is the third side, and it doesn't have anything extra special to it. This is side 4. It says concrete powder, 3 type anvils, and gravel. So I was just over there, I'm now over here, and this is the second side of the storage system. At the bottom here, you can see that we have red, orange, yellow, and all the colors of concrete powder. And these are the 3 types of anvils: the regular anvil, the chipped anvil, and the damaged anvil. And lastly, the gravel collection area. So just to be clear, this farm is collecting all 16 colors of solid concrete and concrete powder. If you've noticed the trend, all of these blocks here are affected by gravity. As you saw previously, in the end, there are blocks shooting in all 4 directions. The blocks that are shooting in those 4 directions are any of the blocks set up here. A lot of specific redstone and pistons are shooting the blocks into the end, but they're also staying in the overworld, causing the duplication. They hit a wall, they come down here, they land on a slab which is waterlogged, and the water pushes it to a general collection area over there. There's 4 directions, and there's 6 blocks per second coming through the end portal. After the falling blocks land on the slab, they become an entity, fall into water, and they get put into the collection area over here. This isn't sped up at all. This is real time how many items are coming through. They come from over there, turn there, fall down here, and it's very important that the entities are at the very edge of the block. As you can see, the entities are not getting lined up with the center, but with the side of the block. For example, say if the entities weren't coming from this direction, but from this direction and going this way, instead of being lined up with the side of the glass block, they would be lined up with the center of the glass block. If that's how this collection system was set up, the entities would sink into the hoppers and get stuck. However, when they're lined up with the edge of the block, they're landing on the edge of the hopper and they don't fall into the hopper getting stuck, and they go all the way around with no problems. As you can see, this is the pink concrete powder section. If any of the incoming blocks were pink concrete powder, they get picked up by the first hopper. However, if that was full, the second hopper or the third, and so on. However, say if it was light blue concrete powder, it would totally skip over this section until it hit those hoppers, and then it would get filtered into those chests. So if I just let this machine run for a week or so and filled up all of these chests, I would have 1 million pink concrete powder blocks. At the base of all the chests, each section is labeled with the block placed, and the very first row of every section has a sea lantern to let you know that this is the first chest that gets filled. There are many ladders to get you all over the storage area. There are also 4 floors in front of every chest. That's because if the blocks were up here and your shulker boxes were down there, you're not going to be able to get those blocks. So if you need to access these chests with these blocks, you can place your shulker boxes up here, pick them up, put them in the shulker, break your shulker, and leave. You might also notice that there are flashing redstone lamps all over this place. You can also see that the flashing redstone lamp is aligned with the first chest that's getting filled. So these hoppers here that are picking up the items, on both sides there are comparators. On the back side, these are item filters. The item filter works like so. Have a hopper pointing into a comparator with 3 redstone behind it. Underneath there is a repeater which points into a block which has a redstone torch. The hopper has the specific item I want to pick up and 4 placeholder items. I renamed the blocks so if I happen to get smooth stone in here somehow, it won't stack with these smooth stone blocks. However, if you had a bunch of leftover placeholder items, you do not want them to get into your storage system. It would completely mess up everything. Once the item I want to collect goes over 41, it gets filtered into the chest system below. That's because whenever this item is above 41, the redstone pulse is 3 long instead of 2 long. Back on the other side, I made use with another comparator that's also 3 redstone dust long. Whenever this item is over 41, the redstone lamp gets lit up. The idea is once this entire row is full of blocks, this will stop flickering and it will stay lit. That means the first item filter will be completely full and no more pink concrete powder can be filtered downwards. That means this row is completely full and this hopper starts picking up the items. Once that happens, you will start seeing this redstone lamp flicker. Take the concept of this single collection area and multiply it to every other collection area and you'll understand how each one works. They're all acting the exact same. The only difference is the block that the hopper is trying to pick up. Behind the chests, it's very simple. So all the chests are stacked straight up and behind them there are hoppers pointing in, going straight up as well. And if for some reason I had to access one of these hoppers behind any of the chests, there are a lot of ladders to get to any of the hoppers I need to get to. I used blocks that are grayscale, so black, gray, light gray, white, to divide everything to make it look real nice and neat. Running down the middle, there is a grayscale glass road, and evenly spaced apart are crafting tables, ender chests, and anvils all the way down. I was just on that side, I'm now on the other side, and you can see it's pretty much identical besides the specific blocks I'm trying to collect. In the center between both of the collection areas, if I didn't happen to have an elytra or fireworks, there are ladders that can take me all the way up there and I can get wherever I need to go. There's blocks falling everywhere, there's water streams in every different direction, there's hoppers everywhere. There are 4 modes for this farm. Just before I would go for a night of AFKing to let this machine run. I would select the mode that I want to use, I'd go to the color, I'd check to make sure everything's working, and then if it was all good, I'd go to the AFK area. I was just down there, now I'm up here, this is the control area. I tried to keep it very simple, there are 4 levers to control every mode. If every lever is up, that means every incoming block is getting destroyed. This is what I call void mode, or mode 0. In every direction, all the falling blocks are landing on soul sand, which is on fire, breaks the item, and destroys it. That was mode 0, and mode 1 is to collect every block incoming. All the incoming blocks in all 4 directions hit this now extended sticky piston. They fall all the way down here onto a slab, which is waterlogged, and all the items turn into entities, which get put into the storage system. The second mode, so if I turn off this lever and come over here, this farm also is a a glass farm. Really early on in this series, I learned that you could turn the incoming sand into glass just by smelting it. So as you can see, I'm back at the special machine at the end portal, and now it's all sand blocks. I'll turn on the machine and go into the end, and all the incoming blocks are now sand. Every time you see what appears to be a single block shooting in either of the directions, there are 6 sand blocks inside of that. Right now they're getting voided and going into the soul sand that's on fire. The glass farm has 2 levers. You can't get glass unless you smelt sand with a fuel source. If I was using coal and I AFK'd overnight, I would run out of coal instantly and I'd barely get any glass. To solve this, I'm using carpet from carpet dupers to fill the furnaces with fuel, and basically I have an infinite fuel source. If I flick this lever, it is now on mode 2, which is the glass farm mode. Instead of all the blocks going down the first tube, they go down the second tube. In all 4 directions, the sand lands on a waterlogged slab and goes in that direction. It might be hard to see, but all of the sand is getting picked up by that first hopper there. These hoppers are all item sorters. We got the redstone torches, repeaters, 3 redstone dust, comparators, and as you can see, sand in the 4 placeholders. I set this up so you can also farm glass while also collecting all of the other concrete powder colors. Or gravel, anvils, red sand, those 2. Instead of getting picked up by these hoppers like the sand is, if there was concrete powder, it would flow all the way across here into another tube here. While the sand gets picked up, all the other items go down here and go into the collection area. Now to the furnaces. These hoppers are filling up very quickly with sand, and these furnaces are full, but they don't have fuel right now. Behind the furnaces is where I have the carpet dupers. Now that it is in mode 2, if I turn this second lever down, the carpet dupers are now activated. In all 4 directions, there is this identical machine all producing carpet, which goes into hoppers. Those hoppers feed into these furnaces, and now you can see the sand is getting smelted into glass forever. After the smelting process is done, the glass goes into those hoppers, which then goes into a dropper, which then gets activated and drops the glass into the water collection system. AFKing this overnight will get you plenty of glass. Here's a view of 2 of the carpet dupers in action. I use glass in almost every build, and when I was building the collection system, I had an extra spot here and I decided to use it for an extra glass slot. So it still works the same, so none of these chests will get filled until this whole area is filled. And right now at the first chests, as you can see, there is plenty of glass already. I'm now going to turn off the glass farm, otherwise known as mode 2, and the final, mode 3, the solid concrete farm. When it comes to farming solid concrete, instead of being able to do 24 blocks per second like sand, you can only do 8 per second, which kinda works out pretty good because that's half of all the colors. If you were AFKing for one night, you can set up 8 colors, and then the second night you AFK, do the other 8 colors, and you're farming the entire rainbow. It's also important to note that the concrete powder has to be in the center. I'm now going to turn on the solid concrete farm, and there are 8 colors going in 4 different directions. Right now every color is getting voided, but if I flick this lever and turn on mode 3, the first and the second piston are now retracted, but the third piston is extended. Instead of going down the first tube or the second tube, that's where the sand would go, they go into a third section. This is happening on all 4 sides. The incoming concrete powder alternates, so as you can see, it's green, blue, green, blue. The falling concrete powder activates this observer, which activates that piston, and as the concrete powder lands, there is a water source which turns it into solid concrete. All the concrete is getting pushed this way into an obsidian box. On all 4 sides in each obsidian box, box is a TNT duper. The solid concrete is getting fed into this area, and the TNT is falling and blowing up any incoming solid concrete. Whenever that piston gets activated by that observer, there's another pulse that goes this way, which activates the TNT duper. Every time the piston pushes, there's a TNT getting spawned. And here's where the items fall. It's not 100% drop rate with TNT blowing up solid concrete, but the drop rates are pretty good. Solid concrete entities are falling into the water collection system and now getting filtered into the chests. And over here you can see a lot of solid concrete getting filtered into the storage system. Over here by the solid concrete collection area, I got about 5 double chests of red concrete and I didn't have to mine any of it. But that's how you can automate a high rate of all the colors of solid concrete, concrete powder, the 3 types of anvils, gravel, red sand, sand, and all the glass you'll ever need with just one farm. That's all the functional aspects of this farm. There is also a small helipad up here which you can just use to land on with your elytra. This leads directly into the control room. Down there is the main obsidian platform you spawn on when you go through an end portal. The control room is above that, controlling all the redstone for this farm. There are ladders and pathways everywhere to get you where you need to go. Up the ladders above the control room, there's a little floor here which you can use to jump into the control room from above. And a bit higher than that is the AFK room. Set up everything, make sure it's working, stand in here, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and you got so many items. The entire rainbow at your disposal. Heading towards and away from the main end island, there are some rainbow beacons. Originally, I had the beacons set up with so many glass blocks so the rainbow would look like a diagonal pattern going all the way to the sky. However, that causes more lag than this entire machine combined. So I just settled for a single block at the bottom on both sides. All the way out here, away from the farms and the main end island, there's a little platform. I learned that it was possible to mine the dragon egg. There's a way that you can set up the dragon egg so it won't teleport and it will have to be broken and drop an item. I thought if I set up the area where there's torches everywhere and carpet and there's no other place except this block for the dragon egg to be, that it wouldn't be able to teleport. However, it goes straight into the void. I did give it a second try though, and I dug straight into the main end island near the center. There's some ladders here that take you quite a ways downwards, and there are blocks in every single place where the dragon egg could teleport, so you can mine it and pick up the dragon egg just like so. I'm back over here now because there's one more thing I need to show you. Extending all the way out into the void and a bit towards the main island, there are some glass and sea lantern tubes. I have an alt that I run on a very laggy laptop, and using an elytra and fireworks is not an option. So if I wanted to bring my alt here to AFK overnight while I used my main account somewhere else, I had to make it possible to be able to walk wherever I needed to go. Back at the obsidian spawn platform, going this way and this way, there are 2 signs. It reads Road to Enderman Farm and Road to Main End Island. Walk out here, go up the ladders, and you can walk all the way to the main end island just from here. There's some ladders which take you up, and if I finished AFKing overnight here with my alt and I wanted to go back to home base, I just walk up here, go through the end portal, and I'm back at spawn. However, the second very long tube goes to the Enderman Farm. If I had to get to the Enderman Farm just by walking, there's a tube that takes you all the way here. When it comes time to put this kind of build here, you have to mine out a lot of endstone. I like to call it the Great Cheese Wall. And this is a view that I thought was pretty cool. You can see underneath the end island where the obsidian pillars reach the void. Even using an elytra, this is quite a risky sight to see. Endstone cannot be mined instantly. You can use a haste 2, efficiency 5 method, or you can use TNT. However, if you want to go the TNT route, there's going to be floating blocks and holes everywhere. Endstone also has a very high blast resistance. I actually wanted to collect quite a bit of endstone for the future, so I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I mined out the whole area, which extended pretty far. I lit up the wall, and now I had room to build the rainbow concrete farm. If you wanted to build a similar farm, you can build this at a much smaller scale, and you can only mine the endstone that's in the way. This is my new method of farming concrete and a few other blocks. Before, this is how I was picking up concrete. I'd fill up any of these chests with any powdered concrete that I wanted to convert into solid concrete, stand under the dropper and hold the concrete powder I want to convert in my offhand, hold a pickaxe, hold right click and left click, and just stay here for hours converting concrete. But now after this farm, I never have to use this machine again. No more manual concrete conversions. When I first started figuring out how I was going to tackle this task of the rainbow concrete farm, I realized I needed to move to a second end portal. This is the first end portal I found in my world. End portal frames are typically known as an unbreakable block like bedrock, but if you bone meal a red mushroom to make it a mushroom tree, if the newly spawned red mushroom blocks happen to be in the same place as the end portal frame, it will remove the end portal frame. You can then break the mushroom and you now have access to the side of the end portal. And the end portal can also be used to farm obsidian and duplicate dragon eggs. However, when it came to farming obsidian and getting dragon eggs, I couldn't make the machines work with the machines I'm using at the second end portal. Originally, this machine here, it was a bit bigger and a bit different, and it was used to farm dragon eggs. This machine here was my original sand / red sand / gravel duper. I used this machine a lot to duplicate sand to smelt infinite glass. There is also a chunk loader here, not as pretty, but it still works the exact same. And this snow golem right here in this little contraption was used to farm obsidian. There's a piston under this snow golem, and there was also a boat here with a silverfish. You would set up the clock correctly with a bunch of random items, and the snow golem would get pushed up and it would shoot a snowball at the silverfish. Instead of the snowball hitting the silverfish, it would go into the end. Every time an entity comes through the end portal, like a player or a snowball, this obsidian platform respawns. I would set up a wither here that couldn't move. The snow golem would start sending snowballs over and over. The obsidian platform would respawn, the wither would break it, and I would collect the obsidian. However, if I tried to farm obsidian here and place the wither, all of these blocks are going away. I came to the conclusion that I would have to cut out farming dragon eggs and obsidian in the future using an end portal. So before doing anything, I farmed 650,000 obsidian blocks, and I'm hoping that will cover me for the foreseeable future. Also, dragon eggs are special, but they're not that useful, so I just collected a bunch, and I don't think I'll ever have to collect any more in the future. When I was clearing out endstone, I realized I had to take apart my current glass farm. I knew I would have another glass farm in the future, but just to be safe, I stockpiled a bunch of glass as well at the same time. And at the very end here is where I placed all of my endstone that I gathered. Right outside the storage room, endstone, dragon eggs, glass, obsidian, just a bunch of bulk storage. This was my first end portal, and this is my second end portal. The strongholds where end portals spawn are underground, so I wanted to make this look nice and I excavated the whole area. This is the main functional aspect you've seen already. I set up a chest for each individual item that I wanted to duplicate. There's some chests here with some materials just to fix the machine if it somehow gets broken. A little message board right here. Some signs and levers, which you've seen already. The nether portal chunk loader. And this was a pleasant surprise, but a chicken got down here, and my friend Discover used to wear a chicken skin, so I decided to name the chicken Discover. While I was excavating this area, a big cave emerged, and I didn't have to mine as many blocks as I thought I had to. The walls are lined with obsidian and smoothstone. I figured I got like 600,000 obsidian, may as well use it somewhere. If you were in the area and you had to go AFK quickly, there's a room right here. If you don't have an elytra, there are ladders that take you all the way out. However, if you do have an elytra, there are 4 holes in the roof here which you can fly out of. And here's the top of the second end portal. So this build is 2,000 blocks away from the rest of the base. However, if somehow the base comes all the way out here in the future, I set up a road to connect it up to the rest of the base then. Just like the inside, the foundation is made out of obsidian and smoothstone. This is where I stayed organized while building this. I had extra storage, an anvil, ender chest, crafting table, bed, water sources, a personal AFK room. I lit up the area, and this is where I placed all of my shulker boxes. In the early days of this world, when I was first deciding what I wanted the base's banner to look like, I came across this design. I really liked the earth design, however, it required a creeper head. When a charged creeper kills another creeper, that creeper will drop its head. A few hundred blocks in that direction is the desert where I was originally getting sand to smelt for glass. A thunderstorm occurred and I had a channeling trident. If you throw a channeling trident during a thunderstorm at a mob, a lightning strike will strike that mob. So I got lightning to strike a creeper and I got a charged creeper. I got it close to another creeper and blew it up, and here is where the explosion happened. Just a small story, I think it's kinda cool. Now I also have another highway hub system. When I found the second end portal, I set up another portal, found out the coordinates were here, I set up a new ice road, which just happened to be right next to the jungle portal, and now it's connected up to the rest of the nether highway. This storage room holds 40 million items. When I started gathering the materials for this build, I started getting the chests, and I realized I needed a lot of chests. You need 8 planks to craft 1 chest, and I recently figured out that you can use bamboo to make planks. Before I even knew bamboo could be used as planks, I would just go and attack a forest for all my wood needs. This farm was a huge upgrade for me. However, when it came to getting enough chests to store 40 million items, this farm was not enough. I would have had to have AFK'd the farm for a week to get the amount of chests that I needed. I figured this is not reliable in the long term. Even though this is a great upgrade, I need to do more. So right next to it, I made another farm called the Quick Bamboo Farm. I focused mostly on the functional aspects and I didn't really focus on the decorative aspects. I needed chests and this video wasn't about a second bamboo farm. In my head, I have been thinking about making floating builds and I decided to test it out for the first time here and it worked out great. The building process was much quicker. I made a very compact bamboo farm and it produced more than 3 times the amount of bamboo that I was getting from the old farm. After 1 night of AFKing, I was able to get 14 shulkers of chests, 5 shulkers of ladders, enough sticks for all the redstone torches I needed, and still had a little bit extra bamboo left over. There are 4 floors, including the ground floor, and here's how it works. There's a bamboo plant on some grass. It starts to grow upwards. It activates an observer, which sends a pulse downwards. This piston pushes outwards, and sometimes the bamboo lands on the hoppers. Stack that like 20 or 30 blocks deep and 4 layers high with 2 sides, and you got a massive bamboo farm. This farm does have a problem with producing more bamboo than the hoppers can handle, and a water system just like the rainbow concrete farm would be much more effective. However, even after AFKing for just 1 night, even though it's not at optimal rates, I'm getting enough bamboo for my needs right now. I also experimented and made a layered storage room. All the hoppers point to a single hopper which starts feeding downwards this way. Any incoming bamboo will go straight down into the bottom chests. But what's different about this farm is that the hoppers bend, so the entire bottom floor will fill left to right first before putting any bamboo on the second floor. Bamboo will fill up here or fill up here, going left or right depending on the side. If I need planks, I just break the chest, craft all the bamboo into blocks of bamboo, craft it into bamboo planks, craft that into chests, and my chest needs are set. There are crafting tables everywhere, and on the floors above there are oak trap doors which can be open and closed, so if you're breaking chests here, the bamboo won't fall any lower. Besides the storage, there's an AFK room, there's extra storage, there's plenty of beds and plenty of ender chests. There's a ladder to get inside the foundation, which I think looks pretty cool. This is a floating build, so instead of doing a staircase, I made a ladder going straight up. I used bamboo blocks, smooth stone, and sea lanterns for the foundation. I also placed bamboo all around and underneath the build. I also didn't know this before, but look how bamboo is coded to grow when there's blocks above it versus not above it. This is where I was staying organized. I had extra storage, a bed, water sources, crafting table, ender chest, anvil, a personal AFK room. I lit up this area, and this is where I placed all of my shulker boxes. Back in the end, this is the area where I was staying organized. All of the blocks that you see here were once in shulker boxes placed all around this area. I had extra storage, a crafting table, ender chest, anvil, water. I had a bed and I slept, and I forgot that they blow up in the end, and I blew up everything. I lit up the area, which doesn't help that much. Endermen love to walk in front of you when you're mining. I had a personal AFK room, but I didn't need a door because Endermen are 3 tall. And finally, over here at the 0 end portal that takes you back to the overworld. I made it a bit more fancy, mostly some signs so I don't forget to turn off the machine so it doesn't break. All the types of torches, red and blue carpet, grayscale carpet, lit up very well, lots of ladders, and encased dragon egg at the top. And this also serves a function. You can spawn a wither boss here and it won't fly away or damage anything. You can spawn the boss, kill it, get the nether star, and repeat over and over with no problems. And there we go, a nether star. And that's everything. The block of the day for this episode is going to be yellow concrete powder. Place it down, place a ladder on the back. That's episode 61. The rainbow has been farmed.